Today is a great example of how the VA pulls a community together to take care of its veterans. We have a number of events celebrating Veterans Day today. We had a great partnership with the Paralyzed Veterans of America, one of our veteran service organizations. They brought tremendous athletes for our wheelchair basketball game. It was our first competitive event, and we got clobbered. No surprise there. They're pros, we're not, but next year will be a different story. We're going to practice all year long to be ready. We also had a great other partners who attended. Boy Scouts of America, we had local troops here to sort of teach young men and women about what it means to be a veteran and how the United States of America takes care of its veterans. That education is important for future leaders. We also have a great partnership with the FBI's Academic Association. They partner with donors in the community and are providing meals to veterans who are chronically homeless or on the verge of being homeless. We contacted the Volunteers of America, we contacted the Gateway House and other partners that we have through our grant and per diem program which subsidizes housing, temporary housing for veterans who need it, to make sure that those veterans could come today and enjoy these wonderful meals. And we're also going to be packing meals for them to take home for tonight. And these are delicious meals prepared by some of our best restaurateurs here in New Orleans. There's one thing that you have to know about New Orleans is that we know food. One of the easy ways to understand the VA's mission is to understand that there are 4 statutory missions. The VA has a responsibility to provide care for our nation's veterans. There are 23 million veterans in the United States, and about 10 million of them are enrolled into the VA healthcare system. The second mission is to provide education to the future of medicine. So 70% of the doctors that graduate from a United States medical school rotate through the VA for some of their training. Here at this medical center, we have affiliations with 2 of the best medical schools in the country, LSU and Tulane medical schools, but we also have about 20 other healthcare academic affiliations. So we're very excited about our affiliation with Xavier for pharmacy, with Dillard for nursing, LSU dental, LSU nursing, and like that, many others. The third mission is research, and we'll have a brand new state-of-the-art research facility here at this location, and already have over 20 investigators working on cutting-edge research in medicine. The VA as a whole contributes over $600 million a year towards research, and that tends to be matched to the tune of almost $2 billion a year. So it's a very big part of it. And then our fourth mission is to back up the Department of Defense when there are natural disasters or external conflicts that require, for example, hospital beds. Here at this medical center, we operate 200 single patient rooms, but they're all equipped with dual utilities, so we can easily roll in an additional bed and go to 400 beds should the Department of Defense need that kind of support. So in that sense, this is a tremendous resource for the area. Across the nation, it's a tremendous resource for the nation, doing those 4 things: providing health care to our nation's heroes, providing education to the future of medicine, providing research for developments in medicine, and of course, during emergencies, being a national resource to make sure that all Americans are safe. Good morning, my name is Fernando Rivera. I'm privileged to serve as the director here at the Southeast Louisiana Veterans Healthcare System, which includes this new Veterans Medical Center and the new recreational therapy gym that we're in today. We have a special treat. Several local schools competed in a Veterans Day card contest. These schools include St. Peter Claver Catholic School, St. Stephen's School, Lake Castle Private School, Riverdale Middle School, Resurrection of Our Lord, and St. Leo the Great. The top winners are here today, and I'd like to call them to thank them and take a group photo. Brennan Hino, is Brennan here? All right. Zion Harris, Alice Guillory, Rehan Reed, Marianne Ayade, Cameron Waddington, Jack Welch, Mariah Pichon, Haley Vu, Amy Nugent, Angele Yuli, Elisa Bouvier, Jania Gordon, Sage Sertain, Brianna Smith, Nyla Nellen, Caitlin Miner, and Amiri Manuel, and Christopher Kernard, and finally Armad Gardner. Please come up. Veterans Day is a day to honor America's veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for the common good. We honor them on this day because it was on November 11th, at the 11th hour of the 11th month of 1918, that the guns of World War I fell silent across Europe, and we began to support our returning veterans. But this year, we're not just spending this day recognizing veterans. This November, by presidential proclamation, is National Veterans and Military Families Month, dedicated to remembering those men and women who made possible our way of life, our freedoms and the rights, privileges, and responsibilities we enjoy as Americans. November is the month Americans traditionally pause to give thanks for our blessings. So it's fitting that we come together to honor with gratitude our extraordinary veterans and military families and their service to our country. As the presidential proclamation says, our veterans are our heroes. Our armed forces have preserved the security and freedom that allow us to flourish as a nation. They have braved bitter winters, treacherous jungles, barren deserts, and stormy waters to defend our nation. They have left their families to face danger and uncertainty, and they have endured the wounds of war, all to protect our nation's interests and ideals established during the founding. Our military families endure many hardships, along with those who defend our nation. They are separated from their loved ones for months on end, and frequently relocated across the country and around the world. They often live far from their extended families, and they know what it is like to celebrate holidays and milestones with an empty seat at the table. Many military spouses face the task of making ends meet while their loved ones are away and off securing new employment with each change in duty station. Children of service members often grow up living a nomadic life, periodically calling a new place home and adjusting to different schools, trying for new sports teams, and making new friends. In these lives of frequent change and transition, however, our incredible military families not only survive, they thrive. It is our patriotic duty to honor veterans and military families. For those fortunate enough to work with veterans every day, like myself and my fellow members here at the Southeast Louisiana Veterans Healthcare System, the service we provide is our own way of honoring that sacrifice. It is indeed a privilege to serve our veterans. For this Veterans Month at the Southeast Louisiana Veterans Healthcare System, we want to keep our veterans strong and healthy. Therefore, in addition to today's events centered around physical activity, we kicked off the month with a drive-through flu shots clinic to make it easier for veterans to stay healthy this flu season. These clinics will continue every Monday and Wednesday throughout November from 7 to 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 to 1 p.m. on Saturdays here at the Veterans Medical Center in New Orleans and at the Baton Rouge South Clinic on Anselmo Lane from 8 a.m. to noon through November 18th. If you haven't gotten your flu shot, you can get one today in front of the medical center along Galva Street. You can walk up or drive up until noon today. We also partner with the FBI and the Volunteers of America and Gateway House to serve hot meals to approximately 200 homeless veterans. We work with compassion and with respect, putting veterans first. It's our job, yes, but it's much more than that. It's a privilege and an honor to remember veterans' sacrifices and to always strive to serve them as well as they have served us. While this certainly is a special month, for those of us in the Department of Veterans Affairs, every day is Veterans Day. Every month, not just during November, we're dedicated to serving the needs of more than 44,000 veterans in Southeast Louisiana, men and women who seek care through our healthcare system. Providing timely and high-quality health care to our nation's heroes is a priority, and our future is bright with continued activations of our new Veterans Medical Center. This past summer, we admitted our first mental health inpatients, opened the optical shop, and began endoscopy procedures, among many, many things, allowing gastrointestinal examinations for the first time in the new Veterans Medical Center. We completed over 300 procedures in GI this past month, as well as interventional pain management. Early in the fall, to better serve our veterans, we began 24/7 operations in urgent care, opened our medicine intensive care unit and medicine wards, and admitted our first inpatient to those units. Our first outpatient operating procedures have started here at the Medical Center, and much more is coming. This will be a thriving resource for veterans health care, not just in New Orleans, not just across the 23 parishes in Southeast Louisiana, not just in the state of Louisiana, but in the Central Gulf South. You will find that veterans from all over the country will come to New Orleans to receive care here. Last month, we officially opened this recreational therapy gym that we're standing in today, when veteran Julius Lee took the first shot on the basketball goal, and he made it. I don't know if he's going to get any shots today. All right. Today, we'll have the opportunity to see Julius's Bayou Hurricanes play against the VA's Rolling Thunder. That's these guys over here. But first, we have a very special guest. This is someone who is what being a veteran is all about. Someone who is one of the strongest advocates for veterans. This is Chairman of the Board of DAV and immediate past National Commander David Rowley.
Good morning. I love it when the temperature gets nice and cool like this. It's much better out. First and foremost, on behalf of DAV, Disabled American Veterans, please allow me to say that we stand in awe of your work. And I think it's important for the American public to understand what the people in this room do and the impact that you have. Please give yourself a round of applause. Secondly, I'd like to begin today by recognizing all those among us who have been part of the great brother and sisterhood we call the U.S. military. Our veterans, active duty service members, guardsmen, and reservists. It is your service and sacrifice that has kept our country safe and free. If you're able to, please stand and be recognized. Got to be some vets in here. Thanks to those who have served and those who continue to serve today, America can sleep peacefully at night. Military men and women know the risks, but they accept them in many cases so others won't have to. My own journey in life highlights the value of your services and the value of the therapeutic activities to follow this afternoon. My father was a Major General in the Army, so my decision to enlist felt very natural. I joined the Coast Guard and am proud to have become the pioneer in my career field. It was a great honor to serve as a rescue swimmer. I know we've all seen that movie with Kevin Costner. Same job, but I think we can all agree I'm a little better looking. Up to that point, being a rescue swimmer was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I guess I should have remained a workaholic like I'd been all my life, but because it wasn't until I finally took a vacation that I got sick. Swimming near Dolphin Island, Alabama, I contracted a serious infection that resulted in septic shock. Here I thought I would have been met by end by being consumed by a big shark or going down in a helo crash, but nothing as glorious as that befell me. Instead, while doing the job I loved, it was a microscopic bacteria that almost took my life. My wife, Yvonne, who I love more than anything else in this world, had to be brave enough to make my medical decisions for me because I was in a medically induced coma. I can't imagine it. I just can't imagine at all the stress that she went through in telling the doctors they could amputate my limbs so I could have a chance of surviving. I woke up to discover I had no arms and no legs. Some of you might have noticed that about me. I was devastated. I imagined spending the rest of my life in bed, having to rely on others to do essentially everything for me. That just wasn't who I was. It was an anguish I don't wish on anyone. I went into a very dark place for a while. It wasn't the struggle to learn to live with my injuries that hurt me the most. The looks, the stares, the pity, it became unbearable. And though I couldn't admit it even to myself, I wasn't strong enough for that. It wasn't in my DNA to be a victim. It was shameful. To transition from being someone who dove into storming seas to rescue others to becoming someone who depended on others for my most basic personal needs made me contemplate ending my journey. On more than one occasion, I feel like I was moments away from making that very permanent decision. I needed a sense of purpose, a mission. It took several years working with DAV, along with some dedicated mental health professionals and the fellowship of other disabled vets, that I could almost get used to it. I made it through those dark days with the help of some very caring and compassionate people like the ones in this room. I also found comfort and began finding my confidence again after taking part in the National Disabled Winter Sports Clinic in Aspen, Colorado. It's an adaptive sports clinic co-hosted by the VA and DAV. As some of you know already, and hopefully some will learn this afternoon, sports can play a huge role in the recovery process. I believe many of you in this room understand the challenges of overcoming an unforeseen tragedy. More than a decade ago, Hurricane Katrina destroyed your very own New Orleans Veterans Affairs Medical Center, leaving many veterans without a place to go. But as I've seen today, your caring, your passion, and never give up attitude allowed you to bounce back in a major way with this brand new 1.7 million square foot facility. It has been just under a year since you opened the doors to the new Southeast Veteran Health Care System, and you have already surpassed 400,000 appointments. That deserves another round of applause. With this beautiful new facility, and 75,000 veterans in the area, we still have some battles yet to fight and many goals to achieve. But I know we can do it, and I know we'll achieve them thanks to efforts like yours. DAV and VA will continue to work together to fulfill our promises to the men and women who serve this great nation. Thank you for inviting me here, for what you do and your commitment to veterans. Please feel free to visit our website at dav.org to find out more about what we do for veterans and ways you can help, or give to your local DAV chapter or department a call. Thank you again for taking the time to remember our heroes. They never gave up on us, and we can't give up on them. God bless you all. Bless our veterans. Bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commander. Thank you very much. I'm always inspired listening to Commander Riley, and he is what the United States of America is about, and what being a veteran means, and what the mission in the VA is about.
When I became disabled in '97, the VA sent me to college. I got my bachelor's and master's degree, started my own company, but it took about 8 years for depression to catch up with me. And the local chapter of the DAV saw that and sent me to the Winter Sports Clinic in Aspen, Colorado. It's a joint DAV-VA event where they introduce you to adaptive sports. And for me, my job as a rescue swimmer in the Coast Guard, I was pretty addicted to adrenaline. And really, that was the missing ingredient for me, is getting exposed to that, seeing the taste of life again, and knowing that's a great life out there. You just need to live it. And so that turned me around. I became a Disabled Veteran of the Year in 2010, and then I rose up through the chain of command in Alabama. I was State Commander in Alabama, and then just last year wrapped up my National Commander of the whole organization. So, Chairman of the board now. We still got some things to do. Hopefully, we'll be able to get them done.
Me and the recreation therapist and a big team pretty much put this on, because it took a lot of us, as you can see, to get everything done. But this is something we want to do on a yearly basis, because sports is the big equalizer in rehab or just life itself. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, you can always get involved in sports, get active, get off the couch.
Dave Riley had been speaking about the role of adaptive sports in recovery, especially with mental health. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, as far as mental health goes, a lot of people get depressed. And when you come out to a sports type activity, you get to interact with other athletes. You share a common goal. So everybody starts getting used to this. They get energetic. They get off the couch. They have something to do. The family plays a big part in this. So the family also has to get involved. And what we're trying to do next year is send 25 people to the wheelchair games, the national wheelchair games. We sent 2 this year. So we're hoping to increase that by 25. Julius Lee is one of the gentlemen playing basketball. He has his own, the Bayou Sports, and we also go with them, plus the Louisiana Tennis Association, the TPC, PGA, and there's some other things like we also with the music therapy and a ballet company out of New Orleans. We had a ballet troupe come through here, and they taught all of our veterans different techniques of ballet, where if you don't like sports, you can also do ballet. We're also going to be partnering with the schools for the music therapy. We have a music therapy program, so we're talking to everybody and anybody, and everybody wants to help the veterans, and they want to come out and participate. They're great people to work with. I've been doing it for 32 years, so we're proud of the facility.
One of the things that we try to achieve at the VA is an integration of all of our employees with our veterans, because we take care of our veterans no matter what, and it's important that we encourage wellness and have that continuity with our veterans. So we encourage our staff to be involved outside of usual working hours to foster that partnership of wellness with our veterans.
You are part of Rolling Thunder, the losing team today. What did y'all do to prepare for the game?
We 15 minutes of practice, with our team, which showed.
Okay, so that explains it a little bit. The other guys had 6 weeks.
They're better.
And so, what is the significance of having this game today? What's so special about having it on Veterans Day?
Well, and it's been 12 years since Katrina. A month ago, we christened, with one of the players, Julius Lee, we christened the new gymnasium that we have out here, and it's just a wonderful addition, to what we can do for our veterans. It's just multi-purpose. Even if the weather wasn't so nice, which we have a beautiful day today, we could have done so many things. We just started our cardiac rehabilitation program last week. We have aquatherapy. We have a large pool that we're opening in the next few months. This gym just opened, and this gym gives us so many opportunities, not just for recreational activities, but music therapy. As you can see with Tom Pedersen, with the beautiful singing, we have an affiliation with Loyola School of Music for these programs. And we also can do a plethora of groups, in our gym. We have a pain program, a polytrauma amputation program soon to be beginning. And this gives us the opportunity to have all these programs. This is the first summer in 12 years that we had participation in the National Veterans Wheelchair Games, and we just had a couple of participants, but they just came back, effusively overjoyed, in their participation. One wants to bring 25 people there next year, and we'll have certainly a much bigger contingent than this year. But it just makes things real, and having this gym, allows us to practice for these events beforehand, because when you show up, you want to do well.
I came back to this VA from an extended tour that I had in Korea, back to New Orleans. I had broke my neck, and I was a quadriplegic. And by the grace of God and some therapy and good therapists working with me, I've got a lot of my mobility to come back to me. I'm not fully able to do all the things I want to do. But since coming back to this VA and being involved in helping a veteran, because that helps myself when I help another veteran, being engaged in all the recreational activities in whatever way I can be helpful. So I've been doing that since I've been back to New Orleans and been at this VA for the last 20 years. For me, I tell you what, this is a thrill to have such an event and such activities to go on Veterans Day for the veterans. For me, that's a wonderful experience. And to have these veterans and also the staff of the VA to come out and enjoy this day together. Veterans and their caregivers and those people working together and having fun. That was an awesome ordeal for me. My team, just a collection of veterans who got all types of disabilities. Some never played wheelchair basketball before. And only 2 has, me and a good friend, Patrick. So just putting together a team to go against the VA staff and let them know that it can be a lot of fun and that you don't have to be the best player to be a winning player.
This is a fantastic facility. I'm not from this area, but when I was invited down by Julius to come and view the facility, it's fantastic. For them to have a recreation department or actually at the hospital themselves to actually find out about wheelchair sports and disabled sports, this is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I've been in a wheelchair for about 16 years. In the first 4 years, I didn't know anything about sports. I was at home sitting around wondering, hey, what else is there in life? Once I got involved with wheelchair basketball, it opened up so many doors for me, and it just kind of gave me the opportunity to be competitive with other athletes with the same disabilities, and it helps me with my competitive edge. Lets me know that, hey, life is not over. I'm still able to get out, compete against guys and gals, and just pretty much have that same camaraderie that we do when I was walking. So I love it.
But we always encourage everyone to friend us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. We post a lot of information daily, and we encourage everyone, not just veterans, to join us there. But we also have our website, which has a lot of information. We keep it current. It's www.neworleans.va.gov.